We turn now to a poem, one that was written years ago about Club Q. It is now resurfacing online in light of the tragedy.
James Davis is the author of the poem. It's part of a collection he wrote about growing up in Colorado Springs as a queer child. 9 News reporter Courtney Yoon joins us now. And Courtney, that poem is coming back at just the right time for so many people.
Yeah, that's right. James Davis wrote this poem more than a decade ago. It's the title poem of his book named after Club Q that was published in 2020. He says now the poem has a new meaning to him, and while it's difficult to see his work resurfacing now, he's glad to have received feedback that it's helping the community heal.
It's an intense mixture of emotions.
Although now he's hundreds of miles away,
Club Q.
poet James Davis still feels a connection to Club Q.
I stand for quest, which is to say mission. As in, our mission is to provide a safe space for you to be yourself. Which is to say, it is not always safe for you to be yourself.
As he reads his poem, written years ago, he remembers what it was like growing up as a queer child in Colorado Springs, and the importance Club Q still has in his life.
I wrote that poem wanting to memorialize it before I knew it would need a memorial like this. It just helped me realize who I am, helped me tell my story a little bit better.
He says he named his collection of poems after Club Q because he wanted his book to be an inclusive space, just like the club that welcomed him in for years.
It always felt like a welcoming place, but also very well guarded. Like they knew that they were in the midst of a sometimes very hostile environment. I am queer in a military town where cadets count out football scores and push-ups and blue angels bar up the sky. For quarantine. For questioning.
James says it's strange and terrible his work is resurfacing in the midst of tragedy, but he's hopeful to hear that it's helping a grieving community heal.
We need to be really active about counteracting the kind of rhetoric that led to this situation. Stand up for the queer and trans people in your life.
James says the last time he was at Club Q was in 2016, just before the Pulse nightclub tragedy. He hopes to make it back to Colorado for the holidays so he can pay his respects.
That poem and the stories we're hearing about Club Q from so many, I think, is enlightening to a lot of people, and the depth of someone really describing what it was like to go there and what it felt like.
Absolutely, and what it was like to go there for James was a safe place, an inclusive place, some place where he could explore his identity and get to know who he was on a personal level. So I think that's a sentiment that a lot of people who went to Club Q can also relate to.
A place that inspired a poem and a series and a book. That's
an
just
entire
great.
book.
Yeah, a whole book. Thank you, Courtney.